amidst the craziness that's ensuing right now. You guys doing okay? Glad you could all make it. Before we even start or go anywhere, I feel like I need a couple moments, and maybe you all do, to settle in to the room and to your body. So let's start by closing our eyes. If closing your eyes is uncomfortable, you can always find a point out on the earth to set your gaze. Just start to take some nice deep belly breaths, filling up from your nostrils all the way down to the pit of your belly. Allowing that air to move back out from your belly through your nostrils out into the space around you. Try to let go of anything that may have happened prior to this moment of your arrival at this workshop. Release any concern about what might be happening in the following hours after this workshop ends. And slowly start to open your eyes, come back into the room, come back into space. Alrighty. Like I said, I feel like I need that too, maybe more than you guys do. So, I know a lot of faces in here, which is amazing. But for those of you who don't know me, my name's Katelyn. I'm a teacher here at Yogaja. Been teaching here for about a year and a half. And I was lucky enough to be able to devote 75 hours of my 500-hour teacher training to the chakras specifically. And I've also done a lot of research on my own because there's always so much to learn. Like, even in starting to do these chakra series workshops, I'm learning more and more. So today, we'll just kind of get into the basics of what a chakra is, where they're located, how you might start to recognize imbalance, and a few other things regarding the chakra. So we're not going to dive deep into any specific chakra today because that's a lot to get into. And we'll have an opportunity over the next 7 months to do so in 2.5-hour workshops per chakra. More info on that will be later. So today, really, if you can walk out of here with just a basic understanding of what a chakra is, I think you should all feel very happy. And again, this will be posted on the web, so if you do want to go back to it, if this was all like too much information, it's kind of going in one ear, not the other, that's okay. You can always go back and look at it some more, which I'm thankful for technology, especially today. So who has ever heard of a chakra? Yeah, you just raise your hand. Cool. Maybe it was before you saw a poster for this workshop. Maybe not. Does anyone have any ideas what a chakra is, or like maybe can offer a couple words to describe it? No worries, like no pressure. If not, it's okay. Yeah.
I kind of get the impression that they're not like physical spots in your body, but like energy spots.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Perfect. Anybody else?
What I learned last night, when I first looked into it, what it was, I don't know the exact wording of what the chakra is, but it actually has areas of your body that can either show issues to parts of your body, and then they have physical outcomes or emotional outcomes that can be negative.
Yes, perfect. So you have both of those things. They kind of go hand in hand. Like they're not these, like they are, but they're not these physical centers in your body. Like they can be represented, like as humans, we kind of need this like concreteness of the physical world. Like I think it's really hard for a lot of us to think in the more spiritual, symbolic realm. So there are these physical locations you can go back to when talking about the chakras, but they aren't actual physical locations. Like it's not like you could open yourself up and it's like, here's the root chakra, or here's the heart chakra. It's more of like a spiritual, like emotional understanding of them. It's like exactly what you guys said. So chakras are first actually introduced in ancient Indian philosophy back between 1500 BC to 500 BC. So like long time ago, this started to be talked about and introduced. And I think it kind of, like many things in the Indian philosophy and many ancient religions, many ancient nationalities and traditions, a lot of this information got buried away. Like, it was talked about, but then a this other stuff happened that kind of pushed away any like spiritual, esoteric knowledge. And over the years, all of this stuff has been brought to the West. So chakras were brought to the West. I think it was around like the 60s and 70s when Tantra yoga came to the West. And people started to learn more about the chakras and started to kind of understand them once again and be able to connect back to them. So there's many chakras throughout your body. The chakras we mostly hear about and what we'll talk about in these workshops are the 7 principal chakras. And there's chakras in your hands and your feet, but those are all pretty minor. So these chakras are all going to have like the biggest impact on your life. And all this information that I'll be offering you guys today came from a few different resources. This was my chakra flow manual from my yoga teacher training. So this is unfortunately not available to the world, but this is when I went down for part of my advanced training. We spent, like I said, 75 hours on this. That's really where I learned to like sequence yoga for the chakras. And then there's 2 books by Anodea and Judith. Show these to the video as well. So this one's called Chakra Yoga. This is again like how to sequence yoga for the chakras, different practices to help to support and balance the chakras. And then there's Eastern Body, Western Mind, also by Anodea and Judith. And this is more like the psychology behind the chakras. This is going to get even more in depth into, you know, like when chakras develop, how it affects you, and all of that. And we'll go more into like this in the individual chakra workshops, and we'll also have movement in those workshops. But today, again, we're just going to talk about the chakras, kind of like an outline of them. So each of your 7 chakras are located in a physical region of the body. Again, you can't open yourself up and be like, there's my heart chakra. But they tend to be where a lot of nerves are located and where electrical activity is heightened. That's how scientists can kind of measure where they are. Unfortunately, there hasn't been much science supporting the chakras, so y'all kind of have to be believers. And I think once you start to learn more about them, you'll start to connect more to them, and it will make sense to you, hopefully, over time. So they're gathered in these areas where there's a lot of nerve activity. So I don't know if you can all see this, but I've drawn out a very poor picture of the person sitting. I had to do this like 8 times, you guys. That's why I did it before class. I knew it was going to take me a bit. But you can see like down in the base of the spine is where the first chakra starts in red. And it goes all the way up to the top of your head where the last chakra is in purple. So from root to crown. You might be wondering what these little double helix shapes are. So has anyone ever heard of the nadis or a nadi? That word sound familiar to anyone? No? Okay, that's honestly probably a good thing. Sometimes I think as yoga teachers we can get a little too woo-woo and kind of lose people a little bit. So this is a pretty, again, like one of the more esoteric parts of the chakras in yoga. So we have these nadis, which are little pathways or rivers. And these, again, travel all throughout your body. There's probably millions of them, but there's 3 main ones. And these correlate directly with the chakras. So you'll see, make sure I don't pull. Oh man, I'm not connected to this. Okay. Whoopsies. Hello, sound. Okay. So you pull from here. You have the main nadi in black. This is the Sushumna nadi. This goes from the crown of your head to the base of your spine. And then you have these 2 that go as individual double helixes. So this one's the Ida nadi. And your Ida is going to be the more feminine, yin part, yin nadi. And then the Pingala is the more masculine. So these nadis, these channels or pathways, they help to carry prana through your system. Has anyone heard of the word prana? Yeah. Do you want to give an example of what it is or some words to describe it? It's okay.
Sure. It's kind of like the energy you draw in from the universe, like life force.
Yes, that's exactly it. It's also a clothing brand. That's going to be my joke, like besides the clothing brand, prana. It's a yoga brand. It's a great yoga brand. But yes, prana is energy, life force. And so we're constantly taking it in. You can think of your body as a conduit of this prana. So like a conduit, it takes it in through the crown chakra, moves through your body, affects your chakras, your whole system in different ways, and then you recycle it back out through the ground, through your feet into the earth. You're constantly taking this in. It's like us discussing this right now, like you're taking in the prana, the energy that I'm offering you from this. The food you eat has prana. The The air around us has prana, the sun, everything has prana. So your chakras serve as these energy centers that receive, assimilate, and express this life force energy or prana back into the world. So your body takes it in, it moves it through these three nadis, these three channels, primarily through the chakras. But again, it moves it everywhere, through your cells, through the chakras, through the nadis. And this prana, this life force, again, these experiences that you have, there's been research, this actually has been researched, that the different experiences you have in your life, the different emotions you feel, all these things can have an effect on your genes. It's called epigenetics. They're just kind of starting to get into this in the science realm. So yeah, if you receive prana, that maybe it's not such a good experience. You know, you have an interaction with somebody and it makes you feel embarrassed or something. You're going to take in prana and it's going to affect and change not only your chakras but your cells as a whole, your genetics, which is pretty crazy. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the chakras. So these nadis, if they're out of balance, if that yin and yang is out of balance, if your masculine and feminine is out of balance, your chakras, one or many of them, will be out of balance, and vice versa. The chakras are out of balance, the Ida and Pingala nadi aren't going to be in balance. So your body's always trying to find balance. It's always like you have this inner intelligence that allows you to find, it's the thing that allows you to breathe, allows your heart to beat, allows you to move, but it also is going to always try to find balance in your body. Has anyone ever heard of alternate nostril breath or nadi shodhana? Yeah? So either of you want to give, do you know why we practice that in yoga? Balances the two nadis. Yes, it balances the Ida and Pingala. So in that practice, you move back and forth between your two nostrils. And I always like to kind of tune in before I start. It's like, is my left or right receiving more air? And if you can notice that after you do the breath practice for a few minutes, usually you start to breathe out of both nostrils evenly, which in your day-to-day, it rarely happens that both nostrils are receiving breath flow, especially if you have a cold or if you are out of balance, one is going to be more dominant. So that's just a little side note. But okay, I know that was a lot so far to start. Does anyone have any questions so far? Any comments? You guys are feeling okay? It's all okay. I remember when I first started learning about the chakras, like, even in my yoga teacher training, when I'd already heard about them, I feel like I was just always sitting in class, like, drooling. What is happening? What are we talking about? So, like, I will stop, a few more times throughout for questions, but if you guys have, like, a burning question, write it down, and then we can talk about it, because you might not be alone. You probably won't be. So again, 7 energy centers, 7 chakras. Start from the bottom, the base of your spine, go all the way up to the crown of your head. In case you couldn't tell by my really great drawing, this is, again, near the bottom of your spine. This is going to be like beneath your belly button, kind of in like your reproductive organ area. This is going to be above your belly button, beneath your rib cage. It's going to be right in the center of your chest, center of your throat, center of your forehead, and then the top of your head. Just in case you couldn't get that from this picture. And so each of these chakras is going to be associated with a color and an element. So you have the 7 colors here. It's the colors of the rainbow. I'm really glad that we had these expo markers. I came in today and was like, I need these 7 colors. And so they're all going to be associated with an element. So the 3 chakras that start from the bottom, those are going to be related to more practical physical matters. So this element is earth, water, and fire. So those are all elements that you see. Like you feel the earth beneath your feet. You can feel the heat from the sun. You can go into a lake or feel the rain as it washes down on you. So that's, again, all those like physical parts of the world. And these are all related to survival, movement, and action, and the more physical parts of life. And then 3 upper chakras, throat, third eye, and crown, are all going to represent the more mental realms, and that more like esoteric, spiritual. It's kind of harder to wrap your mind around. Like the throat's element is sound. The third eye's element is thought. And the 7th element is consciousness. So it's like, those are things you can't see, you can't physically make contact with. So those all work on a more symbolic level through words, images, and concepts. And your heart chakra is the bridge between. So it helps to bridge your spiritual world with your physical world, your inner mind and your body. And all these little chakras, these different energy centers, are portals. You can kind of think of them as portals. I'm going to give you a couple different analogies to help you to visualize them. Again, it can be kind of hard to, at least for me, it was hard to wrap my mind around it. So you can think of them as portals between your inner and outer worlds. So they serve as connection points between your mind and your body. It's like the stuff you can see, your physical self, and then the stuff you can't really see, you can't really measure. And these portals help to filter energy from the outer world and can limit or enhance what gets expressed in your inner world. So each chakra receives energy from the outside, again from the prana, the world around you, the food you eat, air you breathe in, and it assimilates and incorporates that energy into your inner world, these chakras. And makes its way down and it just comes back out. I think it was Einstein, like the law of conservation of energy, right? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So it's the same thing here, like all the energy all the energy that's here has been here since the beginning of time and will continue to be here. It's just all getting recycled through us. So you can, again, think of your body as a conduit. Takes it in, recycles it out, takes it in, recycles it out. So how do these chakras get unbalanced? There's lots of ways. Unfortunately, but there's also lots of ways to find balance in them, fortunately. So these chakras can be imbalanced when they either receive too much energy and are unable to process it, which that's going to result in an excessive imbalance. Or it can be a deficient imbalance when it releases or expresses more energy than it can take in, or it's just unable to receive the energy, like it's completely closed down, closed off. So that's going to be, again, deficient imbalance. So you can think of your chakras, again, portals, or like chambers in your body. Your physical body, think of your body as a temple. Your physical outer body, the things we can see, are your outer temple. And the things you can't see, so things like the chakras, the nadis, are all going to be part of your inner temple. So these chakras are like a series of chambers through this inner temple that is your body. So these chambers have gates. They open or close depending on the energy that's happening. So again, in that excessive imbalance, your chambers are open, like they are taking in as much energy as they can, and they're getting imbalanced because of it, because they're like, I just want more energy. So for example, like if you grew up maybe not receiving as much love and attention as you needed, an excessive imbalance in the heart chakra would cause you to seek attention, negative or positive, from other people. So these are the type of people maybe that are like constantly surrounded by people, they can't be alone, or they act out just to get any attention. Again, excessive balance in the heart chakra or imbalance in the heart chakra would result in that. But on the contrary, if somebody didn't receive enough love or attention, same wound, same experience, they could then become a loner and kind of close themselves off from the world, not want to interact with people, kind of avoid that social interaction as much as possible. So again, that would result in a deficient imbalance in the heart chakra. So we're all faced with difficulties in life. We all have these different experiences, and we have to find ways to cope. It's like the only way that we can survive in the world, right? So either increase your energy to deal with the problem, you try to find more of that, or you decrease your energy in order to get away from the problem. Is all this making sense to you guys? Yeah? Anyone have any questions right now? No? Okay. So, these chakras are all connected. Even though they all have their own qualities, they all have their own things that might directly affect them, or they all might have their own expressions of balance or imbalance, they're all still connected. So let's say your root chakra is out of balance. Like you had a pretty unstable home life from the time you were born. That chakra is going to be out of balance probably most often throughout your life. And by that chakra being out of balance, it's going to affect all of the other chakras in some way. Especially this one, because this is the first one that develops. But if any of them get out of balance, like let's say you just got broken up with and you decide you never want to date anyone again or be around people, closing off your heart. That can affect any of the chakras, but usually it's the chakras above and below. So like when you take this chakra quiz that I've given a lot of you, or will give you guys after, I'm going to send around clipboards in a little bit so you can write down your name and email. And these are also posted online, but you'll start to see where you're imbalanced. You'll go get the quiz with all the questions, and there'll be 12 per chakra. And the questions you circle means that they apply to you. And at the end of each section, each chakra, you get to total them up. And you'll see that the more numbers or the more answers that you circled, those are most likely going to be the chakras you're out of balance in. And you can kind of start to see a pattern. Again, if you're super imbalanced in the third chakra, if that's like a number 11 out of 12 questions you answered yes to, you might also see an imbalance here or here, maybe in all of them. Does that make sense? Like, if one is out of balance, there's going to be at least another one, if not multiple of them. But also if they're all, if one is in balance, it's going to be good for the rest of them around. So these chakras can be blocked or imbalanced by childhood traumas, limiting belief systems, restrictive or exhausting habits, physical and emotional injuries, and a lack of attention and awareness. Which I think for many of us, it's hard to think about the chakras being out of balance. Like if you have an upset stomach, your first thought is going to be like, oh, my third chakra's out of balance, which that is a correlation between the two. But you're not going to think that. You're going to be like, man, what did I eat? Or oh, I just want this to go away. It's going to be, maybe before this would be the last thing you think about, but maybe now you can start to think of things in a different way. Like your throat hurts, and of course it could be a virus that's going around, but it could also be like your throat chakra's out of balance. Like if you get a tickle in your throat, usually that means I have something to say. Maybe you're not saying it. So it's just all these, you can start to think of things in a more spiritual realm. Your chakras are all connected, and honestly, we're all connected too. So these chakras will shift in and out of balance throughout your life. I don't think I've met a person who has all their chakras imbalanced. If you guys have, I want to meet them, but I kind of doubt it because again, you're constantly receiving this prana, this life force energy that is going to shift and affect all of your chakras. It's very rare that they're going to all be imbalanced. If you can find that balance, that's great. Maybe you find it one day, but the next, you get in a fight with your kid or with your mom or whatever, and that's going to affect something. So it's important to be really gentle with yourself. This is not a way for you to be the most perfect, balanced person. This is just a way for you to start to find that and be able to recognize when these things are out of balance. So by journeying through the chakras, through the next 7 months with me, we'll get a chance to hone in on each individual chakra. And just like you're going home with a bit of work today, or not work, but information, that quiz, and then you'll also be receiving a chakra spreadsheet, just outlining all 7 chakras and just a little tidbits about each one. In each of the chakra workshops, you'll be receiving a full page of yoga poses that help, breath work that helps, mudras that help, just different activities, ceremonies, things like that can help to balance it. So you'll have all these tools in your tool belt to help to start to recognize when things are out of sync, and how you can bring them back into harmony. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Colleen.
So do the chakra nadis go root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the nadis are just, so the chakras are, they're connected, but they're separate still, but the nadis and chakras. The reason I highlighted them here is because every time, I don't even know if I said this, I apologize, but every time the Ida and Pingala nadi cross over that Sushumna nadi, that major channel that goes up and down, that's where the chakras sit. So it's you can think of every time it crosses, so let's say the heart chakra, it's if the heart chakra is out of balance, the nadis are going to be out of balance. If the heart chakra is in balance, the nadis will be in balance. And that goes from all 7 chakras. Does that make sense? Can I clarify that in a different way for you?
Yep.
Yes, I covered them up with the circles because they weren't the best connections, they were the best crossovers, but yeah, so every time Ida and Pingala, so every time that masculine, feminine, and that yin and yang cross, that's where that chakra center is located. That's also going to be where the largest bundle of nerves is, and that's going to be where all the electrical activity is heightened. So whether it's because of the chakras or whether it's because of the nadis, who's to say, but they are connected. And again, to that Ida, or the alternate nostril breathing breath practice, Nadi Shodhana, that's going to help to balance the nadis, so therefore it's going to help to balance your chakras as well. That's a great breath practice for all of the chakras. Any other questions at this point? No? So we're gonna go into a brief meditation, just a few minutes. So if you guys wanna shift or move to get you more comfortable since you've been sitting for about a half hour. We're gonna go through this meditation. It's going to be, I'll be offering you some information, but it'll also be a visualization for you guys to all start to kind of recognize where the chakras are located. But don't attach yourself to any of this information. Like, you don't need to remember any of this. This is just a way to start to recognize, again, like where the chakras are located and what they are connected to. And this, all of the stuff I'm offering you in this meditation will be offered in the spreadsheet that I'm sending you or have sent you all already. And so I'll give the location of each chakra, and I'll give you the option to place your hands there if you'd like. There's obviously a couple that are near face, so if you choose not to place it on your face, you can just rest your hands back down on your thighs at any point. And when you hear the location of the chakra, so like the heart chakra, for example, it's in the center of your heart, but it's not just that area. The chakras all expand like a band. So like your heart chakra is from your rib cage to your collarbones. So it expands like this in the front and the back and down your arms. Like the throat chakra, again, it's like center is in the middle of the throat, but it's gonna expand up to your mouth and your ears, around and down. So it's not just one area. Like, I'm gonna also give you guys the color when we're going through each of them. So you can imagine like the color is expanding from that area in that big band. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So go ahead, close your eyes. If closing your eyes is uncomfortable, you can always find a point out on the earth to set your gaze. So feel your sits bones root down into the earth or into your prop beneath you. And grow your spine nice and tall. Start to connect to your breath. Start to connect to your body. We'll start at the bottom of the spine with the first chakra, also called the root chakra, or in Sanskrit called Muladhara. The root chakra's energy center, again located at the very bottom of your spine, your tailbone. And although the legs aren't directly connected to the spine, this chakra also governs your legs. So think of the color red radiating down from the base of your spine into your legs and then back down into the earth. So option to rest your hands anywhere on your legs that is comfortable to really connect to this energy center, to this chakra. As you visualize the color red radiating from this area. This chakra's element is earth. It's connected to your survival, your physical identity, your right to be here, to exist, and to have. And this chakra governs your skeletal structure, your bones, your legs, your feet, and your knees. Move up to the second chakra, also called the sacral chakra or Svadhisthana. This chakra's energy center is located in your lower abdomen, just below your navel center. An option to bring your hands to this area if you'd like. Begin to visualize the color orange radiating below your belly button to your hip bones, all the way around to your low back. The element of this chakra is water. It's connected to your sexuality, your emotional identity, and your right to feel and want. This energy center governs your reproductive organs, your lower back, your hips, your bladder, your prostate, and your kidneys. Visualize the color orange radiating from this area. to the third chakra. It's called the solar plexus chakra or Manipura. And this chakra is located just below your rib cage but above your navel. Option again to bring your hands to rest in this space as you begin to visualize the color yellow radiating from this area. So the element here is fire. This chakra is connected to your personal power, your ego identity, and your right to act and be free. This energy center governs your digestive system, your muscles, and your adrenal glands. Imagine the color yellow radiating from this energy center. Moving on to the fourth chakra, heart chakra or Anahata. This chakra again starts in the center of your chest. Option to place your hands in the center of your chest, one on top of the other. Starts in the center of your chest and radiates down through your arms, into your hands, around your back, through your shoulders. Imagine the color green radiating from this area. Element for this chakra is air. It's connected to your social identity, your right to love and be loved. This energy center governs your chest, your lungs, your hands, your diaphragm, shoulder blades, ribs, heart, respiratory system, thymus gland, immune system, circulation, and arms. Working right up to the throat chakra, the fifth chakra, or Vishuddha. The throat chakra's energy center is in your neck and throat. So option to bring your hands to rest over the throat, one on top of the other. This color is blue. Imagine blue light radiating out from the center. Again, down just above your collarbones, around the back of your neck, up to your ears, your mouth. So its element is sound and space. This chakra is connected to communication, to your creative identity, your right to speak and hear the truth. This energy center governs your vocal cords, your mouth, throat, ears, thyroid, and parathyroid glands. The sixth chakra, also called the third eye chakra or Ajna, is located above and between your eyebrows. Option to bring the fingers of your dominant hand, the peace fingers of your dominant hand, to that space. This chakra's color is indigo. Imagine an indigo light radiating out from this area, in between and above your eyebrows, illuminating your entire forehead, the back part of your skull. This chakra's element is light. It's connected to your intuition, your archetypal identity, and your right to see. This energy center governs your eyes and your pituitary gland. And last but not least, moving up to your seventh chakra, your crown chakra, or Sahasrara. This energy center is located at the top of your head or slightly above. The option to bring one or both hands to rest on top of your head. Start to imagine the color purple radiating out. This time, radiating out and up above you. It's like it's flowing directly back into the sky, to the ceiling. So the element of this chakra is thought or consciousness. This chakra is connected to your cognition, your universal identity, and your right to know. And this energy center governs your head, your brain, and your nervous system. If you have your hands raised, you can gently release them back wherever is comfortable, in your lap or on your legs. Now that you've learned all 7 of the chakras and their colors, begin to visualize your entire body radiating out these colors of the rainbow, starting down at the root with the root chakra with red, and moving your way up to the crown with purple. Imagine your whole body, this rainbow beam of light. You can slowly begin to flutter your eyes open, gently bringing the light of the room back into your vision. How's everybody feel? Good. Cool. So if you ever do want to just balance chakras overall, there are lots of chakra meditations available online. This is just an example of one. But I think it is helpful to kind of go and think about each chakra individually. Just kind of remind yourself, connect back to that. We talked about this a little bit before the meditation, but you may be asking, like, how do I find balance in my chakras? I've given you a couple examples. Like I said, thankfully there are many ways. We don't have to, it's not like it's still a hard fight to fight, but it's not the hardest one we'll ever fight. So many ways that you can bring the chakras into balance. Again, are yoga poses, there's specific ones for each chakra. Breath work, pranayama, meditation. Certain foods can help to balance out the chakras, certain activities, certain types of exercises, certain ceremonies or practices. Again, we'll dive into that in the individual chakra workshops. So as of now, all of these chakra workshops are set to be on the 2nd Saturday of every month. Depending on what happens in the next few weeks with COVID-19, that might shift. We might push it back a month or two. We might, again, try to find a way to do it virtually. I'll keep you all updated. So in those workshops, again, we'll be having an hour of movement, and then we'll also have about an hour 15, hour 20 for discussion. They're 2.5 hour long workshops. You will have a break in between to, move, stretch, go to the bathroom, get a snack. You're welcome to bring, food as long as it's not too crumbly. Like a tea or coffee if it's covered. So in that workshop, you'll start to, again, learn how to balance it. You'll start to learn the different symptoms, signs that might show you an imbalance is happening in that chakra. And then you'll also learn the specific issues and traumas that might affect the chakras. You'll learn like when it was developed, when it is most influential in your life. So just like today, if you want to bring a journal or notebook to write notes in, you're welcome to. Now that I know this is an option, I might record it and so I can send it to people who come, or people can't come and are sick. I can send it out just because I think it is like I said, this information is kind of a lot to take in. So I think it might be helpful to have information to look back at after. I'm in online school right now, and it is so nice to be able to pause a video and write down the notes that I want to write down and then replay it instead of trying to rush in a lecture like this. So the pricing for the workshops, they're $30 each. If you buy them individually, obviously it's going to equal $210, but I am offering a package deal. If you buy them in bulk in a package, it'll be $180. So that's you're getting a free workshop. And if you are an unlimited member here, you get 10% off all workshops. So this is a part of that as well. You will get that deal. So I'm going to pass these out now. I have 3 of them, so hopefully it won't take too long. Just so you guys can put down your name and your email. Even if I already emailed you, just so I can email you again or email the right quiz. See how long this for lasts. It's supposed to last 25 feet, so too, of course, if things get rescheduled or changed. Yes. So, and I can also send you the names of these books in case you didn't have something to write it down. And really any of her books, Anodea Judith, she's like one of the chakra queens of this world. She knows a lot. So my teacher learned a lot from her, and that was honestly a lot of information that I was taught, and my training was from her. But I've just started to dive deeper into these books as well, which is, some of it's, even over my head. So to summarize, going back to all the things we talked about today, so chakras are these wheels or discs that help to receive, assimilate, and express the life force energy or prana. And there's 7 main chakras, 7 principles. Chakras that start from the root of your spine, the base of your spine, and go all the way up to the crown of your head. So each of the chakra affects overall health and well-being, depending on if it's in or out of balance. And when a chakra is out of balance, it can have an effect on your physical, emotional, and spiritual levels. As we talked about too, like when chakras are out of balance, if one's out of balance, usually there's going to be more than one because they all are connected, they all affect each other. They can throw the other chakras off. And we can find balance in many ways, which you can find all this info online too. Like if you take the quiz, let's say, and you're like, oh my God, my second chakra is so out of balance, I need to balance it like as soon as possible. Then you can search online like how to balance second chakra, and you'll find some stuff for sure. And so with the quiz, like I mentioned it before, you'll see it in 7 different sections, 1 for each chakra, and there's 12 questions. And if that question applies to you, circle it. Doesn't apply to you, don't worry about it. Leave it blank. So you'll total them up at the end. And if you have more than 3, that means that there's probably a slight imbalance. But let's say you have like 3 of them have a number 3, but there's one that has a number 10. Like focus on the one that has a number 10, because chances are if you balance the one that's super out of balance, those other ones will get more into balance. Does that make sense? Like, again, they're all connected, they all affect each other. Yeah, so that's a great tool to have just in your tool belt, just to, again, continue to go back to. I don't know about you, but on my computer I can like edit it and highlight things even instead of circling, and then I can delete it and like start fresh. So you could either print it out and maybe on a separate sheet of paper, write the numbers that you would circle down, or just so you can go back to it and so your answers won't influence you. But like if money is an issue, like, I know this is a lot, like $210 or $180 is a lot to spend, to learn this kind of stuff. So if money is an issue, the quiz is a great tool to have, because you can, let's say your heart chakra is super out of balance, then you can really try to get to the heart chakra workshop. And again, if you just attend that one, you will most likely balance out your other chakras. Of course, I recommend you coming to all of them, because in your life you will probably experience imbalance in all of them. I think it's, again, pretty rare to have somebody who doesn't. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions outside of this, you can always email me. I'm going to write my email up here. And then, of course, when I email you, you'll have it. But does anybody have any questions? This is probably not big enough. I'm sorry. Does anybody have any questions at this point? What's this? Hello. Is that big enough?
Yeah.
Okay. What's up?
Vagus nerve.
Yes.
Is that sort of a separate entity from chakras, or like, does it connect to them? Do you know?
The vagus nerve does connect.
Okay.
Yes. And we'll get more into that.
Okay.
Yes. And the third chakra. Yes. That's a lot to get into. That's like a very cool part of it too.
It's more related to the third chakra?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's related to all of them, but the third is like
the third
specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions about anything about the upcoming workshops, or yeah, of course.
Could you give me the sources, authors?
Yeah, absolutely. So Anodea Judith, she's going to be the author for both of these books, and she has numerous other books too. Like there's one called Wheels of Life and Sevenfold Journey, I think. But these are the 2 that I use for today, and I'm going to use for my other workshops, just because this one, Eastern Body, Western Mind, gets more into the psychology, which is kind of what we need to learn to get into the traumas and imbalances and everything. And then Chakra Yoga, which this is a great book to have. Again, yoga is a great way to balance out all of your chakras. She has it set up so it's separated by chakra, of course. She talks a little bit about each chakra, about a pranayama that helps, or breath practice that helps, and then she goes through each pose and like explains it. So it's just a great book to have like in general, just because it will give you some cool yoga poses to try out. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, concerns? No? Yeah? Is anyone feeling like super overwhelmed with this information? No? Okay. Cool. I'm going to turn this off. Thank you for watching.